The single dad who adopted a baby with Down syndrome against all odds. Some children are born into loving arms, and some survive only because one stranger refused to walk away. If that man had chosen comfort over courage that day, this story would never have existed. Daniel Carter was not a hero. He was not rich, famous, or powerful. He was just a single father, exhausted by life, carrying quiet pain in his chest, trying to raise his young daughter while pretending he was stronger than he felt. 3 years earlier, cancer had taken his wife, Emily. Not slowly, not gently. One moment she was laughing in their kitchen, the next she was gone, leaving behind a 7-year-old girl named Lily and a man who suddenly had to become everything. Mother, father, protector, provider. Daniel learned how to braid hair by watching videos at night. He learned how to cook meals that wouldn't taste like sadness. And every evening when Lily fell asleep, he sat alone in the dark living room, staring at the empty space where Emily used to sit. Loneliness doesn't scream, it whispers, and those whispers were slowly breaking him. To escape the silence, Daniel volunteered at a local hospital after work. Being around people, especially those who were fighting, made him feel useful again. One cold, rainy afternoon, he heard a sound that didn't belong. A baby crying. Not the soft cry that pulls people closer, but the kind that makes them uncomfortable. The kind people pretend not to hear. The sound came from the neonatal ward. Daniel followed it. At the far corner of the room was a small crib. No flowers, no balloons, no parents. Just a tiny baby girl, red-faced from crying, her little fists shaking in the air. A nurse noticed him staring. "That baby was abandoned," she said quietly. "Down syndrome. Her parents left after birth." Daniel felt something tighten in his chest. He walked closer. The baby's eyes were slightly different, her features softer, but when she looked at him, there was nothing broken about her. When Daniel gently placed his finger in her hand, she wrapped her fingers around it with surprising strength, and in that moment, something inside him cracked open. He told himself it was nothing, just empathy, just curiosity. But the next day, he came back, and the next, and the next. He learned the baby's name, Hope. The hospital had chosen it because no one else had. A social worker noticed him one evening. "You seem very attached," she said carefully. Daniel smiled without answering. That night, Daniel lay awake at home, staring at the ceiling. Lily was asleep in the next room. The rain tapped against the window. One thought kept returning, louder each time. If I leave, who will stay? When Daniel asked for adoption papers, the room went silent. You're single. You already have a child. This baby will need lifelong care, medical bills, therapy, special education. One official finally said what everyone was thinking. Why would you do this to yourself? Daniel took a breath. I'm not looking for an easy life. I'm looking for the right one. The adoption process was brutal. Psychological evaluations, financial investigations, home inspections. People judged him openly. Some said he was being selfish. Others said he was being foolish. A family member warned him, that child will destroy your future. Daniel didn't argue, because deep down, he already knew the truth. Walking away would destroy him more. When he told Lily about Hope, she listened quietly. "Will she be my sister?" Lily asked. Daniel knelt down and looked her in the eyes. "Yes," he said softly, "if you're okay with that." Lily smiled. "Then I'll protect her." Daniel turned away so his daughter wouldn't see him cry. The first night Hope came home, everything went wrong. She cried endlessly. Her breathing became irregular. Her temperature spiked. At 3 a.m., Daniel sat on the kitchen floor, his back against the cabinet, holding Hope against his chest while Lily slept nearby. "I don't know if I can do this," he whispered. But Hope's tiny hand gripped his shirt, tight, trusting, unafraid. Daniel stood up, and he kept going. Life became harder than he imagined. Doctors, therapists, speech specialists. Strangers stared, some whispered. At school, parents pulled their children away from Hope. One day, Lily came home angry. "She laughed at my sister." Daniel hugged her tightly. People fear what they don't understand, but love is louder than fear. Years passed. Hope learned to walk, later than others, but stronger with each step. She learned to speak, slowly, carefully, but proudly, and she learned to love, freely, without conditions. Daniel watched her grow and realized something painful and beautiful at the same time. She was never the broken one, the world was. When Hope turned 18, she stood in her graduation gown, trembling with excitement. From the stage, she searched the crowd and found him, Daniel Carter, the man who chose her, the man who stayed. She waved. He cried openly. A social worker, one who had once doubted him, stood beside Daniel and whispered, "I was wrong." Daniel nodded. "Yes," he said softly, "you were wrong." The ending, heart-shaking lines. The world labeled her unwanted. One man called her daughter. He didn't save her because he was strong. He became strong because he stayed. And in choosing a child the world abandoned, he found the family that healed him. Because sometimes the greatest fathers are not born, they arise when love demands courage.